start off with the main event, Islam, Renato.
Renato
Yeah,
Moicano.
kick it off for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, what last minute, 24 hours, Armin's out.
Yeah, that's correct.
I mean that was I was wondering for the people that paid an absurd amount of money to go to that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Did they get robbed a little bit?
Because also Dana White said that it like sold more tickets after that announcement, which surprised me. My homie went to the fight.
That's a spin.
That's a little spin, right?
Yeah.
If anything, I feel like people probably like turned in tickets or something like that. That's what I would have assumed. But anyway, my friend went, and I was kind of thinking too, like about texting him and being like, "Yo, that kind of sucks, huh?" But I didn't want to ruin his night.
Right. Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but first thought, I was like, that kind of sucks. So
yeah.
in my opinion, you pay for something, you get this like 1 minute fight, right? So you do kind of get robbed a little bit.
The main event was more. It ended so quick that it really was all the other fights on the card.
Yeah, like Murab, had us really excited, so it was
really
fine.
did.
Nobody complained about Islam.
It really did. And Renato, he got an opportunity of a lifetime.
Right.
He wasn't able to. I mean, he wasn't even able to get out of the first round, and I think it goes to show you, with that Darce choke, you give Islam, especially on the ground, right? He's a submission specialist,
and that's his move,
right? And so, I mean, once he sees an opening, he showed it with Dustin Poirier.
Mm-hmm.
Once he sees an opening, he's going for it, and when he's locking it in, and Renato tapped on that shit.
Yeah, he tapped kind of quick too. Like that shit was tight. It seemed.
Yeah.
He kind of Islam kind of did him like Themba, like Vicente did Themba.
Okay, that's a good.
As soon as they went in that position, it was just like over.
It was over.
Yeah.
It kind of seemed like, hey, he's been in that position 1,000 times,
mm-hmm.
and in the back of the mind, he's just. And even Renato had said that the R is silent with his name, right?
Renato. I put Renato like a H.
Like Renato.
Yeah.
It almost seemed like he has seen. He said that he pushed his hips down to kind of set him up. Islam did.
Yeah.
Get that opening, which if I'm now thinking about it, I'm sure Islam has practiced that same position 1,000 times, and he's probably knows how to maneuver. And if I do this, you're gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it played out.
Right. Why did they even get in that position in the first place? I kind of forget.
I think Islam took him down.
Did Islam take him down?
Yeah, I think it did, because they stood for about the first 2 minutes, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
And I did see people online saying that that was a slip, because it did look like he maybe hit him.
I think in real time I remember you saying like, "Damn, Renato clipped him," but yeah, it looks like he didn't.
Yeah, he did. He slipped. Like he may have punched him, but he didn't clip him.
It was just kind of like rusty in those first few seconds of the fight, I think.
Yeah, but I mean they were exchanging, right? They were
exactly. Yeah.
They were exchanging, but it wasn't a clip. That's for sure. It was a slip, and he got right back up, and then he did what he did.
Yeah. So one of the questions on the top of my head, right? So Islam not only I think ties Silva for the longest active UFC win streak at like 15 or something like that, but he surpasses Khabib's title defense reign. Khabib had 3 title defenses, I believe, and Islam has 4.
Okay.
Also worth noting, Khabib I think got the undisputed title off of Ally Quinta, right? Because that fight fell through.
Okay.
Not a world champion by any stretch of the imagination. No offense to Al, but Islam won the world title off a world champion active Charles. So, in my opinion, right off the bat, I think Khabib has the bigger resume with Conor fight on there, with the Conor fight. They both fought Dustin, right? Khabib and Islam have both fought Dustin. But I think there's an argument like Islam is the better champion. The only difference is like Khabib fought the bigger name, had the bigger like fight.
Yeah, it's Islam still can prove a lot more, right? And really cement that he can surpass Khabib. I think he's not at that point because I think of what you just said. That man, that the Connor shit was just crazy.
He needs an enemy, like a
Yeah,
blockbuster legendary fight.
you need a it was and then just all the fucking drama, bro. When Khabib jumps out the cage,
Right.
that shit was crazy, dog.
The
Like,
dolly and all the stuff ahead
dude,
of it.
yeah, it just magnified everything. It just magnified everything, and it will always be remembered. It will always go down. And then Connor, of course, you know, he's fighting a guy, and there's such opposite type of people too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Connor's just over there, like just he was just
Drinking, talking shit, cussing.
Yeah, bro,
Khabib
like,
doesn't partake in any of that.
right, like
Yeah.
and then the whole like dolly shit, and then their camps and all this shit. So Islam's never had that.
Also, Khabib's undefeated, right? And Islam
That's
has
true.
the one loss.
That too.
So that kind of has like some precedent.
That too. And Khabib was Islam has a different way when he approaches his fight. Khabib was when he took you down and he held your legs like that. Even Islam doesn't do that. Islam's really good on the ground, but he has a different way that his fighting style is different from Khabib's.
Yeah, Khabib is a little bit more like street fighting style type, like, you know what I mean?
But whenever like Khabib, like when you go back and watch it, he like when he grabs your legs and he drags you down, he like puts his legs in between your legs and he holds you. Islam, he does it, but he doesn't. That's not his like. Okay, let's say like
his MO, like his main.
Yeah,
thing.
let's say this. Like if we were playing Mortal Kombat, that would be Khabib's signature move.
Right.
You know, that's not Islam's signature move.
Correct.
And Islam just seems bigger and stronger. You know, and
he's got a crazy back. His back is massive.
He's willing to stand with you too, right? I
think he's more finessed on the feet. He can kind of hang in the striking with elite strikers. I think Khabib had to do that wrestling with them.
And Islam's like he likes to fuck around and play around. You know what I mean? Like you can tell he like still has a good time. Khabib seems so serious. He was so laser focused.
Yeah. So how many fights do you think that Islam has to like win to be in a conversation, right? Or maybe who's the opponent he has to fight? Like either or, right? Is there a guy he's got to fight?
I think this is
double champ.
This is what that but this one cements it. You leave no doubt. You take care of Armin. Take care of him.
Okay, but he's not next, I guess.
Then that's fine, right? Let's play matchmaker. Who would be next?
We got to pull it up because honestly, I'm not too well versed with these lightweights right now.
So Dan Hooker's fighting Gaethje. Dustin Poirier just lost to
Islam, I believe.
To Islam, right? Max Holloway kind of steps in, but they're not going to get Max Holloway the belt because he just lost to fucking Ilia. Now Ilia moves up. That makes things interesting.
It does make things interesting, but then is Islam going to get some haters because they're going to be like 3 title defenses against fucking featherweights. You know how it goes.
And I get that, right?
Yeah.
But even I forgot who said something. The fact that you took the fight on short notice, there is still a chance that you can lose.
Okay, so how about this?
And he took and without no regard, he said, "You know what? Put me in. I'm gonna still get him."
You're talking about Volk number 2, or you're talking about?
I'm just saying in general. I'm just saying in general. In general, for you to still, there's no guaranteed wins, right?
Right.
But he took a chance. Like imagine Renato clips him. Oh, you know what I mean? There's a chance, but I'm just saying that for him to do it, I give him a lot more credit for that. A lot of guys don't do that. I give him credit for taking it. Yeah.
But I think in hindsight, people barely talk about the intricacies, right? People barely talk about weight misses. They barely talk about these things. So if I were to think on paper too, just being a devil's advocate, I think what Islam's done is pretty cool. But just to give it like those opposite kind of like opinions out there, I think there's an argument to say, right? Because if you're thinking like, is he the best champion? Because he has the most lightweight title defenses out of anybody. He has the record now. But like we kind of just talked about, Volk on short notice. Renato on 1 day's notice. You know what I mean? The only real legit like dub is like a Poirier, if in the eyes of the critics.
Yeah.
And Volk won. And Volk won.
And I think he still has for me, I think he still has a lot more to prove. Right?
Because of that, right? If
And
maybe he would have beat Arman, that would have proved something.
Yeah, I mean, I would say not even because of that. I say more because of his age. Khabib just fucking retired. Khabib could have still kept going. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He could have still tried to, but he just said, "Fuck it, I'm done. I'm out." Islam has an opportunity. He's what, 33?
He's something
Turning
like that.
34.
I don't know.
He still has a few. His prime age is right now, right? He's not 36, 37 on the back nine. We're like, all right, you know what I mean? Like, so he still has 2 or 3 years right now to cement all of this shit.
Yeah.
Do what you have to do. Fight these next couple of fights. Get Ilia to move up, and if he fights him, he beats him. Move up to fucking welterweight, and then try to fight. See what you're there. If he does all those maneuvers, bro, and we're talking a couple years, like damn. But you're talking about another 4 wins under his belt. He beat Ilia, he beat Arman, he beat whoever else they put it in front of him before all that, and then he moves up and he beats somebody in the welterweight division, bro. The talk's gonna be crazy. That conversation will be crazy. It'll be like Khabib who?
Right. I think and it's very hard because now you're throwing Ilia's name in the mix, and I find that exciting. I'm not gonna just shut that down.
I do too.
The way Ilia's talking, right? I think because if Islam, hear me out, right? If we're talking reality, because this is where we're gonna run into complications. I would personally say, if we don't talk about these complications, Islam deserves to fight Bilal. But here's the thing: he doesn't want to fight Bilal. Right. And he might not even want to fight Shavkat if Shavkat wins, right? Yeah. Because he trained with Khabib. So here's the thing: if you don't want to do that, I just looked at the rankings at lightweight. There's nobody other than Arman that deserves it.
Oh yeah, I agree.
There's nobody. The only other closest thing to Arman is if you do a #1 contender with Charles and Max, or if you give the title fight to Charles. But again, you're talking about another rematch. It does nothing for Islam's legacy.
Because it's Islam, Arman, Charles, right?
I believe it's Islam, Arman, Charles. Yeah, let me.
Justin, Max.
Dustin, Max.
Right. Then you get Dan Hooker. Probably got Benil Dariush in there.
Dan Hooker, Chandler's #7, which is just criminal.
Right.
That is just criminal.
Right.
Gamrot, Dariush. I mean, it gets worse.
Yeah.
It gets worse.
Right.
So the only fights are, in my opinion, right now, you don't, because Dana White said Arman isn't next. So if Arman's not next, I don't want to see that Charles rematch, if I'm being dead honest.
Right.
At this point in time, with 4 title defenses, I think you either move up and you challenge Bilal, or you do that super fight with Ilia. That's what I'm going to say.
I will say this, like, if they're going to say Arman needs to wait, and then they give him Charles, and then they give him Arman. Let's say Arman has to fight Renato. Or the winner of Dan Hooker versus Justin Gaethje.
Or what about like Arman versus like Max or something like that?
Or Max.
See, I could be down with like a #1 contender fight at lightweight, and then you fight Islam. But I'm just saying, like, for Islam to have another rematch, I think it's kind of boring. I think it's played out.
I see that too. And I think the best thing is the Ilia, bro.
I think the best move is Ilia.
And Ilia will fucking talk shit.
It's going to be a great fight to sell.
And yeah, he'll sell it correctly. It just because of his bravado, his swagger, his like confidence. We've now seen that he is talking the talk and then actually backing it up.
Right. And we just said, who can Islam fight who's like Khabib's Conor? In my opinion, everybody we just talked about, the best option would be like Ilia could be Islam's Conor.
Yeah. No, I think these next 6 months it's going to be very interesting how the UFC maps it out. They always seem to find a way to really give us what we want. So, man, I'm here for it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I think we kind of talked about that one. I don't really have much opinion on like what's next for Renato. We can just like leave the UFC matchmakers for that one.
And I think that's gonna, that's okay. All right, I see what the best looks like.
Yeah, and he kind of, he needs to take a big step back, right? He doesn't belong necessarily.
Right. I think that
I say give him like a Chandler, like anyone.
I say Chandler. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that's a good test. And then it moves Chandler back out if Renato wins.
Because, you know, Renato did the UFC a solid, right? He doesn't have to take that fight.
Huge solid. Huge solid. And like I said, but it was a – I mean, I would have grabbed it. You know what I mean?
Of course. It was a win-win. Like,
yeah, win-win.
Yeah, because you get an opportunity in the future for saving the UFC, but you also get this opportunity you may never, ever get. You don't know if you would ever get that again.
He said he got like a milli.
Yeah, he could probably get an undisclosed bonus, whatever the case.
Yeah, I think he got like a milli, so he didn't lose.
Yeah. You know, some guys will just take that opportunity and not even renegotiate.
He lost, but he won.
Right. And that was where it comes into like a win-win.
Yeah.
Regardless of what happens.
Easy money.
A little cha-ching.
And for just a round, no sweat, really? A little choke? All right.
Right. It was only a couple minutes.
And nobody, like, is talking down on him. Like, oh, you got
no, not at all. What can you say? You know, what can you say? Islam's good.
Yeah.
So let's get into let me just say this one last thing, right? Because I think Islam does have potential, and I don't want this to go unmentioned. He also said that he can be a 3-division champion. So, you know, if he does fight Ilia, that's great. But also, you know, if he doesn't want to fight Bilal and the UFC is willing to throw him a Dricus Duplessis mid-year, maybe like August of this year, you know what I'm saying? After Duplessis fights Strickland, hey, I'm down for that one too, for sure.
What was the weight? What were the stats of what he was walking around and what he had to drop? What was he at?
I don't think I mentioned his. I don't know because like the UFC deleted it now.
Really?
That would have been good to check. So I should have checked it.
I'm sure we could find it because if he's walking around at like 180, DDP's probably walking around at what?
200.
215 maybe.
Yeah.
DDP's not a small dude. Yeah, he's not
thick.
a small dude. He's not a small dude. You know what I mean? What is he like? 6'1"?
Yeah. So yeah, something like that, right? 6 foot, 6'1". I think Islam in camp walks around 180. I think out of camp Islam touches around 200. So you're talking about out of camp, both guys.
I just feel like it's
weight advantage.
I just feel like the only thing I can think is Islam's thinking it doesn't matter who you put in front of me, I'm gonna submit him. But I don't think taking someone down that big is as easy as just taking someone down. I don't know. I mean, of course I would watch it. I don't know. I think the 185er would have an edge.
He would have a big edge.
That's asking a lot. It's asking a lot.
He would have a big edge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is asking a lot for sure.
Yeah. Like I would think even think like Brandon Allen or Anthony Hernandez. I think they would get Islam, bro. They do really good on the ground too and shit. And they're just so big.
Interesting. But you don't hear anybody saying they're down to move up 2 divisions. So I love to hear the confidence.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
He's that dude, right? He's that dude.
He's that dude.